Simon, a 34-10 win over Keighley, giving us our first consecutive wins of the 2023 season, but are you frustrated that it could have been more?
Yeah, a little bit, but I do think that bit were important, breaking that cycle of win one, lose one in the league. Yeah, it could have been more. A bit disappointed with the second half. We had a bit going on there. 2 sin bins doesn't help. But I thought we had an opportunity at 28-4 to really put the foot down and put some distance between us. But credit to Keighley, I thought they battled hard, to be fair. Yeah, that's kind of the story of the game, really. It was an alright game, a decent contest. A bit too many errors and some indiscipline from us, which didn't help. But yeah, on the whole, got the 2 points against what is a pretty good Keighley team, to be fair. So yeah, we'll take that into the next one now.
We did have to defend for 20 minutes out of the second half with 12 men. Does that please that they only managed to cross once in that time period?
Yeah, I can't remember what the try was like either. Can you remember?
I can't remember myself.
I'm not sure if it was a crash over or what, I'm not sure. But no, I think good practice, I suppose. Those 10 minutes are quite frequent nowadays, aren't they? So you're going to have to get used to dealing with that. I'd rather not be in that position. I thought they were pretty average sin bins, to be fair. Ones that could have quite easily been avoided. But yeah, a bit of confidence from that because we haven't been quite as resilient. Featherstone we showed some, but in the weeks leading up to that I didn't think we'd shown much on goal line. We hadn't shown that desperation and desire you need at times, and that's there. So it's good they tapped into that again today, albeit not really what we want, but they tapped into it. It's more the discipline at other end of the field. There are a few really cheap ones that let them out. I think Matty gave one on play, might have even been play 5. No one means to do it, of course. And it's not necessarily the same person consecutively. If it was, that's a very easy fix. But when it's spread out, it's just frustrating. But again, none of them mean it. But we are getting on with the job a bit better than we have done. We're not sort of dwelling on that penalty. We're getting on with it. But yeah, I thought we did all right. Keighley play a little bit different to everyone else, so you got a few different things to handle there. They defend a little bit different as well, which made them quite difficult to break down at times. But yeah, on the whole, reasonably happy. We've come through. Apart from we've got a couple of knocks. Lachlan got one that looked pretty bad, to be fair, but managed to stick the game out. So we'll see how that looks this week. But yeah, no, we got the 2 points, and that's what this is about. We're all judged on the win and the loss, aren't we? So yeah, we'll take that.
I mentioned last week after the Featherstone game that it matters not if we lost this game after such a good performance and good win against Featherstone last week. We play Barrow again next week. Again, we're looking to go on a run like we have done for the last couple of years. Is that really important that we do carry on this momentum going forward into these important games?
I think you're always looking for a run, aren't you? It's not necessarily. I don't think you're looking for it. You're just looking to win every game, to be quite honest. Barrow, they've started the season with quite indifferent games. I watched a couple of the games. They're doing some really good things and some shockers in and amongst, which is quite reminiscent of us. Batley in the same boat. London have been there as well. So it's a bit up and down, isn't it? I think for us it's just getting that consistency right, really. I think we're starting to get a bit of rhythm with the ball now, moving it a little bit better. But yeah, if we can tidy up our discipline, that'll go a long way towards potentially getting that run you speak of. But we won't take anything for granted. We didn't today. Didn't know that much about a lot of the names on the team sheet for Keighley. And yeah, they cause us plenty of problems. You're just looking at it one game at a time at the moment, and hopefully we can be better than that.
Speaking of what we did in 2022, Ben Kavanagh went over today from a pass from Joe Keys, something we saw quite a lot last year. How pleasing it to finally see that kind of clicking.
Yeah, good. I think that'll happen more and more as Cav's a big bloke, got pretty good feet, and if you put him one-on-one, he's a bit of an handful. But for us, we haven't been spending enough time in the opposition 10, 15 metre area to really isolate people and make it a tough tackle on that one-on-one scenario. When you've got no metres behind you, there's no time for someone to come and help you out, really. But as I say, we've probably been guilty of letting them off the up, whether it's a penalty or a play 2 or 3, pushing a pass and letting them out of that area far too cheaply. The more we spend down there, I think the more you'll see the Matty G's who can break a tackle and the Cabs of this world come through.
A few eyebrows raised when saw Brandon Moore not on team sheet today, but how impressed were you with Tom Inman and Kyle Wood rotating at 9 today?
Yeah, it's just common sense, mate. I don't know about the eyebrows raised. We've got 3 hookers. We only pick 2 weekly. It's not always going to be Brandon, but the reason behind Brandon was he's made probably 50 tackles a week. We're missing very few for probably the last maybe around a year so far, to be honest. And as much as he's tough and would never complain and would never ask for a week off, we feel like we've got to look after him at times. And Tom's showing the promise we knew was there, and Woody knows how to manage a game, so I thought this was just a good opportunity to give Brandon a week off and let Woody start a game for us and sort of manage that plan. I thought he did a really good job of that today, and obviously Tom's got his qualities, hasn't he? He showed them again with jumping at the right time, and again, a bit like Woody bringing blokes onto the ball in his stint. It's just something we need to build with Tom. Brandon, when he first come on scene, he weren't doing big minutes. You have to get used to it, and although at times we might be better with Tom or Woody out there for longer minutes, Brandon's just rock solid in defence, very dependable, and when it's big man after big man, because they're a foot shorter than everyone else, it takes a bit of something about you to be able to manage that, and obviously experience is a big factor in it.
Jacob Gannon, fresh from his loan move from Lee, straight into the side. What were your thoughts on his performance?
Good, I thought it was solid. A bit disappointed that he had to deal with that for his debut, in a sense of we had 12 men for the most part of it. I think Jacob's an athlete, good player, strong, smart, and he's got some vision about him, but yeah, didn't get the opportunity to showcase some of that, I don't think. But really good for him to get some minutes under his belt, and then hopefully next week we improve and we play at the right end of the field a little bit. I think we'll see some of his qualities come through.
Finally, a word for the fans, 2,100 here today, big crowd for a big derby, hopefully more turnstiles for the Barrow game in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah, really good to see the numbers like that. It's tough for everyone, isn't it? Money's wise, I think the club's probably planning, or have worried and thought that maybe the crowds might dip further, with the things that everyone's having to deal with, but I think Cara's done a really good job of engaging with community clubs and schools, obviously. That's helping. Seeing more young people down here is great. And let's be honest, with this IMG stuff, we've got to grow all these areas. It's something we've just got to really push, and it's not all on the club. I think we've played some really good stuff last year and still struggled to get the numbers in. We have got some areas in which we can work harder in terms of dragging more bodies in. But I think if the fans can keep turning up, dragging a few people with them, letting them know what the scene's pretty good stuff, and I think they have a good time when they come, to be fair. So yeah, we need to keep pushing that, because the bigger your crowd, the more attractive you are to the people that are making some decisions a little bit further down the track. So it's something we need to just continually grow and keep tapping into, and hopefully get these young people who are coming at the moment off and on, then become a bit more invested in it. I think a few of them have got the favourites. It helps that Wombat scoring every week, so everyone's all over him at the minute. But I think we've got some blokes in that team who've got some really good qualities that the kids can aspire to do themselves. So yeah, I think we just really need to push it and try and get everyone along for the ride.